The Danceology podcast interviews the great masters of dance, the working professionals starring in today's most exciting shows, and the rising stars ready to amp up the craft. I'm your host, Edyta Stawinska from Dancing with the Stars. Join me as I dive into the world of dance, uncovering unique stories and the fascinating personalities of industry professionals on Danceology. Mai, thank you so much for being here, for taking your time. I know you're a very busy lady. You are currently touring with the biggest Irish dance show called Riverdance, and you just toured into the United States. And I've seen your posts on Instagram. You've been to Radio City Music Hall. You've performed at Radio City Music Hall, which must have been a treat. You have appeared on Good Morning America. Tell me about these experiences of past few weeks, the highlights. What was your favorite venue? What was your favorite audience?
Well, thank you, Edyta, for having me. I'm very grateful to be here today. Touring America this past few months has been phenomenal. We absolutely love touring in America. Like you mentioned, Radio City Music Hall was one of the highlights of my career, I would say. We were here back in 2020. So to get to perform on that stage again just was a moment I will never forget, and I'll be dreaming about forever. So hopefully we're back there one day. And then performing on Good Morning America, we did a lot of press this tour, which is always fun. It's always really fun to get to travel around America and get the opportunity to, meet these incredible people and spread the culture of Irish dance and of Riverdance all around the globe, essentially. So it's been incredible. It's been really fun touring with the cast and the crew these last few weeks and months, and just, getting to live out your dream every day. And perform in front of incredible audiences, because that's what it's all about, is giving back. So it's been really, really fun.
So what was your favorite audience, your favorite city? Which one went absolutely wild, bananas for you guys?
I think Radio City will always hold a special place in my heart. And just, when you're standing on that stage and you look out to that auditorium, and it feels like it's never ending. So I can close my eyes and just picture that right now, which is phenomenal. And I go to sleep thinking about that. So that was a dream come true for sure. And every audience is amazing. As you know yourself, every day is different when you're dancing in front of a new audience. But I really did enjoy New York, and the audiences have been incredible everywhere.
Well, listen, I actually recently asked the AI, what is the longest touring show in the world? And it comes out that it might be Riverdance. And it comes really close to Wicked. But Wicked apparently been touring for 25 years, or shows like Phantom of the Opera. You guys are celebrating 30 years this year, which is quite incredible.
It is.
What would you attribute to the success of Riverdance? Why is it so enormously successful?
That's a great question. I think there's so many things, and I think also it's ever changing. So I think at its core, it's the music, the incredible Grammy Award-winning music composed by Bill Whelan. That is timeless, that every single time you listen to it, you hear different things. It makes you feel different. Just that, listening to that, and then that with the dancers, with the talent that you're seeing up on stage, the harmony between both the musicians and the performers on stage. It's quite a hypnotic show. I think there's moments where you feel mesmerized by what you're seeing on stage, whether that's, Cuchulainn being played by the piper, or the girls in Heavy Countess. There's something quite beautiful about the contrast of all the different types of dances versus the different harmonies in the music that we're hearing. And I think for everyone, it's a different experience. So there's lots of things within the show itself that keeps audiences coming back 30 years later. And then, it's also, this year is Riverdance 30, the new generation, which is the first time that most of the performers that you're watching are younger than the show itself. So that brings a whole different element for people to come and see the show, because we've never known life without Riverdance. And it's been something that we've grown up with. It's been a legacy that was formed before we were, on this earth. So it's always been in the future. It's always been a goal of everyone you see up on that stage. So that brings a different kind of vision for us when we perform on stage. We see it as a responsibility. And it's, again, it's a dream come true, but we absolutely love getting to tour the world and live out our dream. And I hope that it's here for another 30 years, bringing audience members back.
Have you dreamt of being in Riverdance ever since you remember? How did it all come about? I know you started dancing when you were 4. I spoke to your brothers. I know you were competing together. I know you had a long career, competitive career, before you actually got on Riverdance. But tell me your journey up to the moment when you got to audition from your perspective.
That's quite a long answer. So
maybe some highlights. How you started. What inspired you? When did you know that you want to stick to it, and sort of thing like that?
Well, the first inspiration came from my mom. She was a dancer herself. She did ballet. She was also an incredible athlete. So we get a lot of our, strength and also our artistic style from her. And I started dancing like you said, at the age of 4, just in my primary school in a local class held every Friday. And shortly after that, my mother took me to see Riverdance, and I fell in love with the performers. So that was my first time I was exposed to Riverdance. And then, like you said, I competed competitively for 16 years alongside my brother Fergus and my other brother McDara and my little sister Isabella. So it is definitely something that is in the family, and the rest of our family too made huge sacrifices for us to travel all around Ireland and the UK and America to competitions every weekend, because we were very fortunate that our parents wanted us to be able to live out our dream and continue pursuing what we loved from a young age. And then when I was in 2017, I got the opportunity to audition for Riverdance. I got an email from our executive producer and CEO, Port Moyles, asking if I'd be interested in touring. And that same day, I went into the Gaiety Theatre in Dublin for an audition. And shortly after that, got my first China tour, and I've been here ever since.
What is the process? Do you have to be invited to an audition, or do you submit your resume? And
yeah, no, there's loads of different ways in the past that people have gotten into the show. Currently, it's we hold this thing called the summer school, and it's an academy that's held over about 6 weeks every summer, both in Dublin and Boston. And that is an incredible way for young dancers and dancers that are, have toured with other shows too, to try to audition for Riverdance. It's a week-long program where they learn from the people that when they go to see the show, they see up on the stage. So the instructors themselves are part of the cast. And you learn the material, you learn a lot about performance. Hopefully you learn a lot about yourself and what it's like to be a team member, and you leave that week with a new goal, or with, having redefined your goals. But it's an incredible experience, and it's one of my favorite parts of the year. I love meeting all of the young talent out there and just meeting great people. And that is just a really, really good way to get into the show. You can also, it's from 6 years of age up. So if maybe Riverdance is something, we got a little junior program, and they're so cute. But, in years to come, if Riverdance is something that they want to pursue, then they will have learned the material and learned maybe what it's like to hopefully be part of a team. And if that's like an environment that they can fit into and grow.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a training ground. You mentioned your mom. Yes. In one of the interviews, I read that your mom, when you were watching the show and you were little, she pointed to the stage and she said, one day you're going to be on that stage. Is that true? Is that a myth?
No, it's not. Well, what I've heard happened was I was dancing in the aisle, or I was up dancing out of my seat, and the woman that was next to us looked at me, and I said to my mom about how much I was enjoying it, and my mom said, "Oh, wait till you see, she'll be up there one day." So that's just a very full circle moment that actually happened, and Yeah, that's it's for me, it feels like something out of a movie, but
Right, right.
it's a very I don't fully remember it, but apparently that's what happened.
Well, a lot of people believe in projecting your goals and your dreams to the world, and and this is how you get to achieve these goals and live these dreams. It seems like your mom dreamt of this career for you. Was she the one? Obviously, she was the one signing you up for the class. You were 4 years old, but was she the one kind of pushing you in that direction, or you felt that you were driving this passion for Irish dancing?
Well, for my brother and I, we were so fortunate that our mom, like our success is her success. She drove us to classes and feshes for years and years and years. And um, because we absolutely loved doing it, then that became something that, over time we just continued to pursue. But it 100% we would not be here without her and without her push and her drive. And um, actually on this tour, she came out to New York City with my father, and they came to one of our press gigs with us, which was just a nice moment for to kind of show her like this is because of you, and we're here now because of you. So she gets to come see the show all the time, but that was just a different element that she might not have seen before and experienced. So that was really nice to be able to give back in some way. But she's an incredible person, artist, worker, and she was definitely the push and the drive behind my brother and I's success.
Does your mom ever give you like pointers? Do this part this way, do this part that way. She has dance background, right? It's kind of hard to stay on the side and not say anything.
Of course, yeah. She
She does.
she
Does
does,
she?
like she
Does she?
definitely gives her opinion, and she she loves style, and she growing up, going to competition, we loved picking out my dress for competition, because that's a whole process where you get to design a dress, and there is the look on stage as well as the talent. So that was an element too, because she's very artistic, where we really enjoyed that part of Irish dancing, and that's carried through into professional Irish dancing too. So I love when she comes to see the show, and the first thing I do when I come out is I ask her opinion. So yeah,
Okay.
it's really nice.
So listen, how is it different to compete and to perform on the stage? You do get your costumes from the costume designers. You don't get to choose them. So that's that's for one.
Yeah, that's true.
That can be tricky. I remember I did not always liked the costumes, particularly for the larger assemblies. We, as ballroom dancers, had a lot of our own input when it came to our solo dresses. But when it came to the group dances, to the big company dances, you had nothing to say, and you were just dancing in whatever they gave you, and that was not necessarily my favorite thing. But apart from the costumes, tell me about this transition and this change between competitive and performing dance.
Well, like you said, first of all, I love ballroom dancing competitions. My mom and I, speaking of that, we have pulled so much inspiration from like you. I used to be very envious that you guys get to, Dancing with the Stars, have a different costume every week. I used to think that would be so fun. But I do understand the element of not always like going out there feeling like you look how you would like to. And that takes a whole different kind of mental toll, where you have to just do your job. And I'm very fortunate in the show, whereas in the fact that I love all the costumes. Our costume designer, Joan Bergen, she has added a few new costumes to this version of the show, Riverdance 30, and they're beautiful. They're really, really nice. But from competition and shows, it's very different. I'm sure you know yourself. Growing up, I was taught to stand out in competition. You could be in a competition or a fesh with 100+ different dancers, and those judges, you could be the 300th slip jig that they're seeing that day. So you have to kind of, you work for years to, in those couple minutes you have on stage, to be the person that they remember. And then after joining the show, it took me a while to learn the transition from that into becoming a team member and to blending in the background, to not stick out and to look as one so that the show is at its best. And one thing in competition that helped with that was Ceilidh dancing, where we dance in a group of 8 and do different, and we're supposed to look seamless in our movement. So that was a big transition for me. And then from becoming a troupe dancer to a lead dancer, you almost have to relearn again how to stand out and how to lead the show. And then there's just so many different elements of performance that took a long time. So like for competition, we keep our arms down straight and and you have to look from your waist up like there's no movement. So everything is from the waist down. So it takes a lot of core strength. It takes a lot of good posture. And then again, in show dancing, you have to bring back in the element of using your arms, using your face, using your neck. What emotion are you trying to express? What is the difference between each number? How can you grow in this moment? How can you have a moment of breath where you're silent? And how does that impact the audience? So many different things that has taken me years to try to master. But every single day I'm growing, and it's still the same when you dance. You're only as good as your last dance. I still try to live by that so that I'm continuing to grow. But those are just some of the things.
Right. So you are the part of this new generation of Riverdance cast. And how would you say the show has changed over the years? And do you like these changes? Do you think the show benefits from it? Or do you think it was more ground and spectacular before? Because I believe the cast got smaller. There are less people on the stage at the same time. I think one of the huge appeals of Riverdance was just the sheer number of people doing the same thing so precisely at the same time to this beautiful music and in this beautiful setting. How has it changed over the years?
Well, it's changed a lot, but also not a lot at the same time. Part of the beauty of Riverdance is, like you said, that dancing in a line and that synchronicity. And I think that there's something so powerful in that. And there's no other dance show really like that out there, but before Riverdance. So I feel like people come back for that, but there's elements that have changed. The costumes have been updated throughout the years. Some of the score has been recomposed throughout the years. There's been numbers taken out and numbers added back. Like you said, dancers, it has been cut, but there are certain arenas and certain theaters we perform in where the show is at we add dancers in, so the show is at a full size again. And I do like the changes. I think it's the same with anything. You have to grow and adapt to your environment. So, I mean, that's essentially it. And I'm looking forward to seeing in, 5 years time, 10 years time, what changes will have to be made to adapt with, the new dancers coming in, because they are the future. And I'm excited to see that talent.
What changes should be made, in your opinion?
It's a really good question. I think as long as you hire the right people, I think at the end of the day, it's a team, and that all comes down to people and their mindset and that shared vision and goal. Then, you're set up for success, because dancing can always improve and grow, and so can performance, but you need the right people.
So you think the people will drive the change?
Yeah, I think so.
Your brother told me that you have an amazing group of human beings performing together on the stage, and that he's friends with a lot of them. He gets to perform with his sister. You get to perform with your brother. I believe his girlfriend performs with you guys as well.
That's right.
Tell me, what is it like for you? What kind of relationships have you formed in a cast? And how is it to be in a cast with your brother?
I absolutely love touring with my brother. I think only one time since we've joined Riverdance have not been on the same tour, and that was only for a brief amount of time. And I joined back. It was on the UK tour in 2021. I love it because I'm very fortunate to have family on the road. No matter what, no matter where you are, you have someone in your corner there supporting you. If you have a bad day or a bad couple minutes, all I need is, a reset from Fergus.
Reconnect.
And yes, exactly. So I do love performing with him, and you get to meet so many like-minded people, so many people that want to be doing what they're doing, because we are very fortunate. So
Mhm.
there's an incredible group of girls there, and yeah, I miss them when I'm not with them, and it's one of my favorite things is when you connect with people that you're touring with.
What is the most challenging part of your career and what you're doing, touring, performing? I bet you have, what is it, 5, 6 performances a week?
At the moment, there's 8.
8 performances a week. That must
Yeah.
be incredibly hard. What is the biggest challenge for you in this touring life?
Well, I mean, with any dance show or any like sports team, if you think of a sports team, there's going to be setbacks constantly. So whether that's like injury or you're just having a bad day, whether you're feeling homesick and you're missing family, all of those things happen to everybody while we're on tour, especially if you're on a 6-month tour. The hardest part for me is probably spending time away from my family, especially as I get that little bit older. I miss those moments more, and I do everything I can when I am in my downtime to spend as much time and quality time with my family that I can, and my friends as well. But on tour, like I said, I'm very lucky to have a support system. So if I'm having a bad day, there is a resource for me there. And yeah, that's probably the most challenging thing.
So tell me, for an Irish dancer, is being a principal dancer on Riverdance, is this the height of your career? Is there anywhere else you can go from there?
Well, I think for me, I don't like to put like a label on it in a way. I think there's been so many moments throughout my career where I could choose that as the highlight, or, and I feel like that's hopefully never going to be an ending thing in my life. I would love to always in some way stay in Irish dance and have a foot in it. And I live also as well, like tour to tour. So I've tried to really remember the highlights of that tour. And then there will be a day when I'll collect those memories and look back at them all. But I hope that's not until the very distant future. But, so many people, it's different for everybody. So for me, I love being a principal dancer. It has been a journey that I still love to this day. I'm very passionate about it. But for another dancer, it might be becoming a dance captain. It might just be being a troupe member, which is, a really hard thing to do, is to get into the cast. And then for another person, it could be coming on to become a dance teacher, or, workshopping a school or schools all over the world. Those are all highlights that many dancers go on to do, and things that they go on to do as well. So it just depends on the dancer, I think.
Right. I'm just trying to get an idea of what is that holy grail of Irish dancing. Is it the Riverdance? So let me explain to you this way. For ballroom dancers, we have this huge competition in Blackpool, England. And winning that for a lot of dancers is kind of, this is it. Basically you can count yourself as the best in the world. And I know that you have many competitions as well. But beyond the competitive world, you have this whole performing scene as well. Let's say for athletes, winning a Super Bowl for football players, winning a World Cup for soccer players, Grand Slam for tennis. Is Riverdance the Grand Slam for Irish dancing?
Personally, I would say so, yes.
Right, okay. So what happens after? Well, let's say you are done with touring. What is the next step in your career? So
there are so many different avenues that each dancer that's in my position can take. Many of them go on to do their dancing teachers. They get their qualification, and then they will teach, and then they might become a judge. That is a path that a lot of dancers that have been in Riverdance take. And a lot of just
the competitive judge.
yes, yes. And then we also have like a lot of people that are in college on tour. They're, studying online. Yeah. And we've got personal trainers. We've got people that have, I think, are accountants. We have a nurse right now. So people have other jobs too that they will go on to. But for like a principal dancer in Riverdance, it is probably the pinnacle of their career in terms of dancing. But there's other areas within Irish dancing that you can definitely go on to excel in. For me, I do a lot of work with the summer school program, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. And especially now we're in the months coming up to it, and I'm getting a little bit busier, and I love that because I love to see the students that arrive come back every year, because it means they're growing and you're growing with them. So it's an element of Irish dancing that I didn't know I could achieve until it happened. So I think that there's probably a lot of different avenues within Irish dancing too that, haven't been opened yet, or doors that haven't been opened. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is.
Have you thought about changing your career or directing it in any other way? I was joking with your brother. You should audition for Marvel movies because he has this look of this superhero look. Have you thought about a complete switch, or I would say a continuation in a different direction?
I absolutely have. And I'm still thinking something along those lines, but I have a bit of work to do before I decide fully what that is.
Do you feel comfortable talking about what it is, or not yet?
I actually don't think I do. It's okay.
Okay, that's fair. You don't want to say it before it becomes
happens. Yeah, exactly.
That's a valid point. So I always complain about dancers' career, that dancers are underappreciated in terms of we put so much work into our artistry and athleticism. I think dancing is this merge of art and sport at the same time. So we train like athletes, and on top of it, we have to be able to express through our bodies like actors or musicians. We have to be artists, otherwise we're not going to be able to connect with the audience. Now, those most amazing athletes get rewarded to the point that, a couple of years in professional contract as a soccer player, football player, tennis player, pretty much sets you up for life. Would you say that after a few years on being on a tour, you are set for life financially and you can go on and do whatever you like?
That's a really good point. I actually do. I think if you're smart about saving, and I think there's so many other ways to make money while you're on the road. There, a lot of people don't have different side hustles. I would be, especially in my last few years, I would be very adamant about trying to save as much as possible for the future. So I think if you're smart about it, you absolutely could.
What are give me some example of these side hustles or the jobs that can complement your touring?
Well, some of the cast at the moment go on workshops. So if we're in a city and they know, we get our schedule. So if there's a city coming up, they can book a workshop in a dance school that's in that area, and go and teach for the daytime, and obviously come back then in time for the show. So that's one area that people make money. We also have personal trainers who have clients at home, so they're filming videos to send home to their students at home, oftentimes which are dancers getting ready to compete. So there are different ways you can make money while you're on the road.
Got it. I do like the mindset of going outside of just touring and doing the side hustles and getting ready for the change that happens after tour. I spoke recently to one of the young upcoming dancers, Zara Silver, and she's this incredible dancer, almost acrobat. The stuff that she's doing with her body is just insane. And she's studying right now. She's at she's getting a degree in dance at UCLA. So one of her goals is joining a major artist on a tour, like Ariana Grande. And she's very young, and she has the whole world in front of her. But I often think that dancers just don't look past that goal of touring, because you might tour with your favorite artist, you might achieve that goal, and then what's next? And I think this is so unfortunate that we are like athletes in the regard that our career, unfortunately, does end at a certain point. I wasn't able to dance competitively beyond certain age, and I'm not sure what is the typical age of dancers retiring from touring. But in ballroom dancing, it's about 35, 40. And then you have the whole life ahead. And I do like that you guys are planning for it and you get ready for that to change.
Yeah.
So I think that's incredibly important. Where do you see yourself 5 and then maybe 10 years from now?
Oh, I love this question. I would love to continue touring as long as I can because I love it so much. And like you said, as dancers, we unfortunately can't dance forever. We can dance forever, but maybe not at the level.
We can just perform on the highest level.
And then, I mean, there's so many, like I said, there's so many different avenues I'd like to take that I feel like the world is my oyster. And sometimes I struggle to pick one because I want to do so many things. So I would love to just be doing something that I'm passionate about and that I love and that is fulfilling to me. And then 10 years from now, well, hopefully I'll maybe be settled down. I don't know, have a family. I think as well, I could wake up tomorrow and want something completely different. So that's the beauty of life too. So that's where I'm at right now. But there is also, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can finish, please.
I was just going to say there is also this incredible thing that we have because like there's been the Riverdance has made before us that we have the alumni and they come in and they talk to us about life after the show. And it can be a really hard transition. But we have that knowledge at this age to prepare for that. So that's something that they did not have. So we're lucky in that regard too, where we can start to think about what life is going to look like when I'm 35, when I'm 40, when I'm 50. And because like you said, you've worked your whole life for this one thing. And then unfortunately, at some point it has to end. But there is a silver lining in that too. So we'll see.
What are your passions besides dancing? What do you do in your free time?
I dance all the time. I have no free time.
That's my passion. That's basically what happens. Honestly, that's what happened to me. Like I didn't get to do a lot of things when I was dancing because you just simply don't have time. Yeah. So I started learning new things only when I started slowing down with my career. You know, I picked up tennis and I started skiing and I picked up other things too. A whole bunch of things. I love to learn new things. I started horseback riding. But it's true, we don't get much time. But let's say you're on a tour. What do you do in your free time?
Well, a lot of tour we will spend traveling to the city that day. Okay. And then, but if we do have our mornings off, like a lot of the girls, myself included, will try find a Pilates class or go to like a gym there or something like that. And we love like coffee dates.
It's all about dancing.
I know, it is. I mean, I love anything that's creative, anything to do with the arts. I love like film. I love acting so much. I get inspiration from my brother all the time. 2 of my brothers are involved in, the acting and entertainment industry too. So, there's so many things I'm passionate about. That being one of them for sure. And anything like in theaters, any live performances, I love. And if I get the opportunity to go and see a show, I will. So I'd like to always be in the entertainment industry in some way. bit like yourself. Like maybe I'll be hosting a podcast. I don't know.
You absolutely could. You have beautiful, beautiful face,
Oh,
and
thank
you're
you.
very well spoken. I think you could do literally, like you said, anything you put your mind to.
Thank you.
So I'm very excited to see what you're going to come up with in the future. Listen, you mentioned settling down. You've
Yeah.
traveled the world. You've seen so many different places.
Mhm.
Where do you see yourself settling down? Are you planning to go back home? Are you like other places?
Um, these are really hard questions. I would no.
Which one? Which one doing good job?
um, I would love to be around beside my family. And then I love traveling so much, and I love visiting new cultures and seeing the world. Especially, did you find that once you're exposed to a new city, it's like you get the travel bug and you just want to keep doing that. So I think when I do settle down, wherever that is, it might be a difficult transition. Hopefully, I'll be very ready for it. But if it was in Ireland, that would be amazing. If as long as my family's here.
Well,
Um,
listen, the world is getting smaller. Like, who knows? Soon we
who
might
knows?
have the space shuttle traveling not to the moon, but just across the globe and getting you from US to China in 2 hours, you know? Who
That's
knows?
so true. We're in West Palm Beach at the beginning of or near the beginning of this tour, and I fell in love with that area, and the weather was incredible. So I left it saying, "Oh, I'm going to live here one day." So maybe I'll be
Yeah.
back.
For what?
Okay.
Because it's almost like your life gets, your wishes are fulfilled. So, so far, it is a
Hopefully.
great area. I do love it too. It gets hot, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it.
Mhm.
Um, so, what is, let's say, looking not only forward, but as of right now, what is your definition of success? I always ask that
Mm.
my guests because I want my audience to understand that success does not have to be measured by one criteria. It's not necessary for everyone has to be the wealth that they accumulate or success in their career. For a lot of people, success means having a peaceful family life, just living healthy life close to nature. My definition of success has changed over the years as I progressed in my career and in my life. What is it
Mm.
for you now?
Um, that's a really good question. Can I ask what it is for you before I answer?
For me, it is, well, I had some health struggles recently, so I got to appreciate the little things in life and prioritize a lot more. You tend to take a lot of things for granted when you are younger. So it's definitely just my definition of success is to be able to do what you love, to never feel like you work, which I am extremely lucky to say I was able to achieve. I've never had the 9 to 5 job. I never felt like I worked a day in my life. I can't say I didn't work hard, but it never felt like work. It felt
Mm.
that work was always putting into getting closer to the goal that I wanted to achieve. And therefore, it didn't feel like a burden. I was always motivated to do it because um, it's just so hard to explain. Because it was just part of my overall goal. So I feel like the definition of success would be doing something you love, being able to do it. At the same time, obviously, hopefully, whatever you do would sustain your living, and being able to be close and enjoy that life with people you love and feel close to. So my struggle is that I am here in California and I do have my own family now, which made things easier. But for decades, my whole family that I considered my closest family was back in Poland, thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Um, so that was my struggle. And that is something that I will always feel like that area of my life needs improvement, and I go back to Poland as much as I can, but you just can't replace it.
Yeah.
But as I said, I have my new crew right now with my 2 little kids, and we spend a lot of time together, and we do a lot of things. And the thing that I enjoy most is doing things with them. So, so that's basically it. So go on, now your turn.
That's hard to follow. That was beautiful. I think for me, success, as long as it's not, how do I put this? I don't want to be defined by my success. As long as I'm not letting what I'm putting all my priorities in define me, then I'm succeeding. Because I think that can be too much sometimes, and it can overtake your whole being, and that's when your priorities get shifted. So, like, very similar to you, I think as long as you are doing something you're passionate about and that doesn't feel like work, and you're surrounding yourself with people that you are helping you grow and not, the opposite, that's success. And, it's like, what's being rich? If you have your family around you that you love, then you're rich. So success is quite similar in that regard, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what I found difficult as I was transitioning from my competitive or as a performer into the different part of life is finding that other thing that you're passionate about. And I think if you manage to start looking and searching for it while you are still dancing, that's an ideal to make that transition easier, because it's so easy to say, I'm so sorry, something popped out on my screen. Because it's so easy to say, to be able to do what you love. And I feel that I got so lucky that I got to do it and I got to make a living out of it. But in theory, it is so difficult for other people to accomplish that, to find that one thing, or not one, to transition from one thing to another that you will feel passionate about. So I wish you that the ability of be able to find over and over the things that drives you and that make you feel that you are fulfilled, and obviously with the people around that you love. What advice would you give to young dancers or young performers coming up in Irish dancing or any other form of dance? What advice would you like to hear when, years back when you were still competing?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what I just said is, no result defines you. Not that I believe that it defined me as a person or a dancer, but just like, take a breath. Everything is going to work out. It's going to be okay. No matter what you choose to do, there'll never be a time where something doesn't go your way that it's not meant to happen in that moment. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and that sometimes that's hard to take in the moment when you're going through struggles or setbacks. But those are the times when you learn the most about yourself and your resilience and your strength and who you are as a person. So I wouldn't change any single thing about my competitive journey or my professional journey so far. Because now when things like that happen, I'm so equipped and strong in who I am that I'm able to deal with anything. So I would just try to tell myself it's okay, one day at a time, and everything that's going to happen is meant to happen. So yeah. And to young dancers, just get experience in shows.
Yeah, I always tell my kids, I love that saying that no one has ever learned anything from winning. You learn from losing.
That's so true.
And only if you are able to learn from the times when you lose, you become successful.
Yeah.
My son plays soccer, and in one of the gyms, there's a quote by Michael Jordan that it starts with how many shots he must. It goes like, I'm not going to be accurate with numbers, but I'm just going to give you an idea. I've missed 3,000 shots, and 300 of them were the game points. So basically, he missed the shot that caused his team to lose. And I'm talking about hundreds. And he just he lists these numbers of how many shots he lost, how many games he lost. Like it's hundreds, of games that he lost. Basketball players play a lot of games, and then he says in the end, but these losses, they made me who I am, and without them, I wouldn't be the person that I am right now.
Yeah.
And I looked at that quote and I just loved it so much, because this is true. You have to lose to learn, and if you don't take it as a learning opportunity, you will never be able to succeed.
I love that, and I love it's exactly an opportunity. I also like to look at it as a choice. When you lose, when you win, you win, and that's great, and it meant the journey was worth it. And when you lose, you have a choice. Is this, maybe this isn't the end of my journey, maybe this is a lesson that I need to learn, or I need to learn again until I choose to make it better. I love that. It's so true in all aspects of life.
All right, last question. How long can Riverdance last? How long is it going to be going on for?
Forever. What do you mean? I hopefully for as many years as possible. I'm so excited to see the future of the show, to see, the new generations that come in and what they do and what the future looks like for them and what Riverdance looks like for them. I hope to be able to one day, take my grandkids to see the show, that it lasts that long. So, yeah.
I just thought about it. I had a conversation with one of my friends recently about how the ballroom dancing style has changed over the years, and how is it different from the time when I was competing, which was a while ago. After competing, I transitioned to performing, and how is it now? And it has changed quite a bit. It became a lot more athletic, and everything is much more compact, and it's about speed, and there's a lot less outside expression and a lot less power and dynamic and artistry in it, which it looks incredible from one way. These people are like these amazing athletes and acrobats and gymnasts almost, but it took, in my opinion, a little bit away from the dancing and the expression. Like right now, everyone in competitive world looks a little bit the same. How did it change in Irish dancing? Do you guys dance like Michael Flatley? Is it the same style, or has it changed?
In competition, you mean?
Both. Or on the stage, in competition?
I think in the show, it's ever evolving with the times. So I think it's at its core quite similar. But like you said, in Irish dancing competitively, everyone has become a lot more athletic, and the dancers, even from such a young age, are so strong and so flexible and so sharp with their movement, that they're now who is coming into the show. So all of that is also coming into the show. So it's just changing with the evolution of Irish dancing. But I do agree that sometimes it can take away from the artistry to an extent. Not always, but I would hope that it would never get to the point where we would look like clones and dancing alongside each other in competition, at least.
Because you can choose your arms, right?
Yes, but the dancers out there nowadays, they're wonderful. They're so strong.
Incredible.
They're incredible. Yeah,
absolutely incredible. Is there anything you would like to share with our audience? Anything that is coming up for you, or also how can we find you on social media?
I think I would just like to say thank you for having me. And Fergus spoke wonderful things about when he talked to you in the past. So I was very much looking forward to this, and I'm just very delighted to be on. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Are you on Instagram, Anna Mai Fitzpatrick, or is it
it's okay. If they want to look up, they can find it somehow.
They will find you. If they want to find you, they will find you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think both of you and your brother are absolutely terrific. Your mom must be so incredibly proud. Now looking at it from a mom's perspective, I have 2 children. I think she must feel so incredibly happy for the 2 of you, that you have this career, that you do what you love, that you achieved so much in terms of, I think you're really accomplished, obviously, in dancing, but you also are very grounded and very real about your expectations and about your future. I really like your philosophy. I really like the way you think and how you are preparing yourself for the change and for what's coming up. So I wish you absolutely the best. I can't wait to see what else you're going to be coming up. And just like your brother, I would love to see you both on the big screen. I think
Thank you. That's very kind.
And you are just such a darling.
Thank you.
I can't, like, you've got it all. You should really, really absolutely go for it.
Thank you for your words. They're so kind. Thank you very much.
Well, you have the amazing rest of the tour, and if you're coming into my neck of the woods, I'll definitely be there to watch you guys on the stage.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please be sure to rate and review this episode. This podcast is produced by Todd Fisher and Anthony Smith and is distributed by Metacortex Publishing. This podcast is copyright. Any previously trademarked or copyright content is used by permission. Information and opinions stated in this podcast should not be construed as medical advice. Please be sure to visit the official website for Metacortex Publishing at metacortexpublishing.com or find us on social media for other unique content.